And welcome back to the Ruby Tuesday. My name's Ruben, and this is my review for episode 8 of season 3 of The Wheel of Time. The embargo has been lifted, so I can talk about it. Non-spoilers, of course, gonna dance around some of the main subplots and give you an idea how they finished this, whether they finished it on a strong kind of footing or whether they're, kind of let you down on an anticlimax. Let's jump in. Episode 8 is called He Who Comes with the Dawn and is directed by Syrian Donnelly and written by Justin Jewel Gilmer. In the thrilling finale of Season 3 of The Wheel of Time, Moraine and Rand face their destinies revealed by Rudin, while Egwene must confront the threat of the Forsaken and Rand himself. In Tanchico, Nanine, Elaine, Matt, and Min come face to face with the Black Aja and other dangers. In Tar Valon, Suin faces a familiar enemy who threatens to take over the White Tower. So this isn't one of those episodes that is just contained. We get a little bit of a lot from all over the places because we've got so many storylines and tangents, and none of them really come together. There isn't a fully fleshed out conclusion to any of the stories, although it does leave you feeling somewhat satisfied. There is a finality to a major arc story revealed like a plot point. So if we don't get picked up for the next season, which surprisingly Amazon Prime Video or Amazon Prime or Prime, whoever they're calling it now, haven't yet picked it up. Unlike the first two seasons where there was greenlit pretty quickly, there is none of that. Now, there is the thinking that the reason for that is they're going to greenlight multiple seasons because this has been huge in viewership for them. So I'd be surprised if they don't. But, let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think maybe they're not going to pick it up? Or are you, hoping with bated breath that they will? In the tower, we have a little bit of a moment of the past vote that has massive repercussions on a future vote of something that they have to vote on this time round. It's an interesting dynamic because we've seen contentions like butting heads physically with the One Power, as well as those in power scheming and conniving, like all over, like a sort of Game of Thrones politics. But with the One Power, it gets brutal and pretty quick people die. But in this case, it's actually quite beautiful what happens. I love the character dynamics in this, especially in the tower, and then in conjunction, or more like a juxtaposition of what is happening in the desert with Rand and Moraine. The reflection of potential harrowing moments with emotional story backing. If you take those two moments and you put them up next to each other, there are some fantastic monologues in this that are both brutal, emotional, and full of, I guess, just really great acting. So they got these monologues that they need to... It's a little bit of dumping exposition in an action, which is fine because it does really well with the visuals. We get to see the One Power used again in its deathly way, but also in a beautiful way. The two reflections of these scenes that go hand in hand come together with Rand trying to, become the person that he's meant to be, the leader that he's meant to be, and the tower, always being in the background, vying for power, but trying to control Rand. Those ideas kind of butt heads in the most beautiful way with characters that you're going to be rooting for, as well as those that you want to die. There's some beautiful sets here in the market with costumes that were interesting for some of our characters to be wearing. There is a butting of heads once again with the Black Aja, and finally one of our characters is... I feel like this particular character's power has been nerfed for a while, and it's been bugging me because I know this particular character with the One Power can be potentially very powerful. Just feels like that character has been nerfed somewhat. But there's a scene here that is beautifully showcased with what happens when you put this character in a corner. Nobody puts baby in a corner. Wonderful to watch, beautifully showcased, wonderful magics of the One Power on show here, and I just want to see more with this character now that it is. Matt finds himself in trouble. He walks through an arch that he shouldn't be walking through and encounters something that is creepy. Matt is always doing this. He manages to find trouble where there is no trouble. He walks through an arch and manages to find something pretty scary, and once again needs help to basically save his life. It's a great scene, and I was looking forward to this moment once we were given a little ideas of what was to come. I'm really looking forward to what people think of this particular moment with Matt. I liked it a lot. I believe fans were waiting for this from the books, so I hope it brings joy to you, this version of it, of how they did it. I love the creature design and set design, particularly with Matt and the markets and the arch. I thought it was all fantastically done. Lanfear. The Forsaken are making their move. Lanfear is one of those that, have been playing about in this season. We've seen how powerful they are, and there is an altercation with Lanfear, but I'm not going to say what the outcome is. It's just, I love it when these powers finally butt heads, the good versus evil. It's quite clear now in this episode, even though they were kind of playing a little bit with Rand being in a relationship with Lanfear. I realize that's not to the books. They're doing their own thing here. But now lines are clearly drawn, and it was a fantastic climactic ending. Somewhat satisfying, but if we don't get the next season, then it's going to be somewhat very unsatisfying. Not somewhat, it just will be, because there are so many threads and stories that are now left hanging. I can't imagine that they won't pick it up. Nynaeve goes for a swim, and it's spectacular. That's all I'm going to say about that. So all in all, this season has been, I think, quite a wild ride. They've been building on the sets, the characters. We've come a long way from where our characters started in that first season. Bit of a shaky beginning. I really feel like the characters are really finding their feet of what is needed for this TV series. It can't ever be adapted exactly. It's always going to be its own thing. So if you're too close to the books, I totally understand that you will dislike this series. But those who love fantasy series that don't know the books, I think you're going to continue loving this. For those who are able to differentiate and put aside the books and just enjoy this for a different version, then I think you really enjoy what they've done here with the ending. Fingers crossed that this isn't the end. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below once you've seen the episode. What did you think of how they ended it? Were you hoping for more? Fingers crossed for another season. But most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.